Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talk. Fourth time should be a charm. Let's see how it goes. I hope you guys are having a great day. Got a great video planned out for you guys, even though I've shot it a couple times now, and then each time I had some flaws that I didn't like, so here I am reshooting it. Got a great video planned out for you guys, though, today. Today, I want to talk a little bit about, a new scam that is out there if you're buying online. You're not going to have this happen if you're buying from big bullion dealers, but some people are falling victim to it when they're buying from like online sellers, miscellaneous people. And, you know, it takes a little while to really get hit on it until you make that mistake and you buy it. I was lucky enough to not fall for it, although I was researching a little bit. I said, that just sounds a little too good to be true. 999 silver bars and silver rounds for $10. I got to be honest, though, if it sounds too good to be true, most of the time it is. And this actually is, too. I didn't fall for it, but some people are. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're also going to talk a little bit about just knowing what you're buying. Because a lot of times, you know, all of us that have been stacking for a while, right off the bat, everybody should know 1 ounce, how to tell the spot price, how to tell the premiums, maybe 5 ounces, 10 ounces. But once you get into some of these weird things, not everybody is as quick to pick up the numbers, such as 1.5 ounces of silver, a 1.5 ounce silver coin. That's a big thing out there. Maybe a kilo. Maybe you're not sure exactly what a kilo is. Maybe grams. You're not really sure how to break down how much that is. And so I kind of want to talk a little bit about that stuff today. And even constitutional silver. Constitutional silver, you may not know how much it takes to equal 1 ounce. I'll be honest, I have not always been the best about all of these things. However, I do make it a point to look this stuff up on a fairly regular basis. So I think it's going to be a great video today. And so with that being said, we're going to get started. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button for me. It really helps the channel out. If you're a member of the channel, I cannot thank you enough for supporting the channel. In fact, we will be going live either tonight at 8:30 Central or tomorrow night at 8:30 Central. I'm not sure which of the two nights because I have a lot of stuff going on. However, I think it's important that we get this knocked out. There is going to be one more weekend, but I really want to get it knocked out this weekend. We're going to do the big, actually, there's not one more weekend in the month, actually. It pretty much ends here. I want to do the big silver giveaway for our members. We've got some great prizes that were donated. We got some really cool prizes up for giveaways, and it's free to join. It's free to participate, but you do have to be a member of the channel. It's only $1.99 though to become a member, so it's a lot of fun. Anybody that wants to watch it, I do open the video up to anybody that wants to watch it. It is live. We do everything randomly, and it's well worth it, I think. So with that being said, I hope to see you guys here this evening or tomorrow evening. And with that being said, we're going to jump right into the video of the day. So I want to start off first just doing a quick recap where we're at on silver, gold, the markets and stuff. We got silver trading at $33.05, which is down a little bit for the week. Well, I guess it's actually up just a little bit for the week, but not by much. Especially after, you know, we had this big jump on Wednesday and then we've seen it kind of fizzle back down by the end of the week. However, I'm not really worried about the short-term runs. I'm buying because I'm worried more about the long-term runs. I want to continue to preserve my wealth. I want to be prepared for what I believe is coming. And in that case, I do pick up silver and gold when I have the opportunity to. Moving on to gold, we have gold closing out Friday at $3,318, almost exactly 1/100th. We did see it go up as high as 106 to 1. That's 106 ounces of silver equal to 1 ounce of gold. However, we've seen it come back down pretty quick to about 100. Who knows if we'll see this go higher, if we're going to see it start plunging back down. We have the DXY right now at 99.59, not able to break that 100 barrier again. I'm really curious because one of the economics one of the economists that I follow, he is saying that he don't see the dollar going back over 100 at all. Anytime soon. So I'm kind of excited to see if he calls that right because we have been pretty close, but we did not make it. And literally, I mean, it's interesting to watch. Jumping in, we got the Dow Jones trading at 40,113, up about 20 points for the day. Very small percentage. I'm just going to almost say it was pretty well flat. We have the NASDAQ trading at 17,382, up 216 points, or 1.25%. We have the S&P trading at 5,525, or up 40 points on the day, or roughly 0.75%. Bitcoin, the interesting one on the day, getting it up there. You know, we came back a little bit. If you are invested in Bitcoin, we got as high as 95,257, but then we did take a little back pull as we went down. I'll be honest, recently Bitcoin is looking good again. There's a lot of speculation around it right now. There's a lot of people that are cheering it on, hoping to see it continue on, as some people are calling it the digital gold. Me personally, I would rather have real gold than digital gold. I just want the real thing no matter what it is. So with that getting started, we're going to jump screens real quick, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the first thing that I want to talk about. So recently, I've been seeing these not ads, but things on eBay where they're selling one 999 silver bar for as much as $10, as cheap as $10. It sounds good at first. If you zoom in on these photos, I could really zoom in on this and show you guys how it looks like it could be a 1 ounce silver bar. However, if you guys, most people are going to know my layout on my desk. Just the fact that people understand the grooves on the wood lines, you understand just by looking at that this is not a 1 ounce bar, especially when I put my finger in the picture, and then you have a good I guess something to compare it to. However, unfortunately, some people are falling for this scam. You know, 1 gram is not a lot of silver. And I actually heard one person tell me that he really likes them, and he pays as much as $5-6 a piece for these things because he wants to barter them if the time comes. And I tried explaining to him, but some people, they're never going to get it. It doesn't matter if they're a naysayer. It doesn't matter if they're a stacker. Some people will never understand what is going on. I hate to say that because I feel so horrible that some people just, no matter how much you talk to them, are not going to understand that. You know, if you have been saying, oh, I want to buy gold, but I want it to pull back, gold all of a sudden continues to go higher, and I could spend all day talking with you, and you're still going to want to say, oh, no, it's got to pull back at sometimes. You know, I still hear people say we could see silver under $20 again, and if that happens, you'd be very happy that you waited. And I don't believe that. I don't think we'll ever see under $20 silver again. I actually heard someone, or saw something, I should say, online, where somebody was trying to make an argument that if we see the kind of pullback that gold seen and silver seen in 1980, then what is gold going to be? It ain't going to be $1,000 an ounce. It's going to be under that. And to a point, yes, that is true if that happened. But I think you're basically saying the sky is falling. I can't even imagine gold being back under $1,000 an ounce. And if people are waiting on that, I think they're severely going to be left out. Could it pull back some? Of course. We just came down $200. But, I mean, you know, it's been up and down. A lot of people are worried about what's going on right now, and so they are moving to gold. They're moving to silver, mostly gold. I'm not going to try to steal some of the limelight. It's gold that is getting all the limelight, but I do believe that silver will have its day, and they're doing it quietly. A lot of people are picking up gold. They're quietly accumulating it. We're not hearing a lot about it in the news and the media, and it's not until it's too late that I think you'll hear about it. You know, and we're continuing to go higher and higher. Now, why do I have these little 1 gram bars here too? Not just because I want you guys to know what you're getting, but I actually ended up trading these. I picked these up on a trade today where someone wanted this coin right here. And no, this is not JC Stacking coin. He actually has one, but he wanted one of these, and the guy didn't want to spend the $40 on it. And so he said, hey, I don't want to buy that off you for 40, but would you trade something for it? I said, well, what do you have in mind? I'll take any other 1 ounce certified coin. To me, it's just a 1 ounce certified coin. It's not anything super special to me. This is one that we just gave away to a lucky member a week ago, last weekend. And like I said, we got 3 more big prizes coming up this weekend that we're going to give away. We're going to do them live. That's why a lot of people like being members. For only $1.99, it's well worth it. But the person then said, how about I give you 40 grams, even though there was a mistake, because this was actually 2 grams right here. It doesn't look it, but it does split apart and turn into 2. So I actually kind of cheated the guy gram, but I'm going to make it up to him later. Needless to say, he traded me 40 grams for it. Now, what I want people to understand what we got here is, first of all, how many grams are in an ounce. So it's roughly 31 grams of silver in an ounce. So right there, getting 40 grams for an ounce, I was pretty happy with that deal. Also, another thing that I want people to understand is, yes, there are people out there that pay a lot of money for 1 gram bars. If you ever had to barter this stuff in the street, you know, I wouldn't want to pay $7 for a gram of silver when I could just buy for the same, well, I'll say for maybe $8, I can pick up 3 silver dimes. And no, you could probably even pick it up $7.50 if you look around a little bit. You know, I'd rather spend the extra 50 cents and get 3 silver dimes. Now, how many silver dimes are actually in 1 ounce of silver? So it's actually 14. So a lot of people don't know that $1.40 in 90% constitutional silver will equal the same as 1 ounce of silver. Now, I know some people right off too might say, I'd rather have this because it's certified. You know, in some cases, you're paying a lot extra for plastic, for the plastic that it's in. And a lot of that comes down to what you think is going to happen. You're going to see next week, I have an amazing, I'm pretty excited about it, coin coming in that's pretty exciting. Low mintage, picked it up on a great deal. It's certified. It's a 70, I think. And I'm pretty excited about it. However, be knowledgeable. What are you stacking for? Do you think that precious metals you're gonna have to trade them in the street and barter them? Well, in one aspect, you wouldn't want something necessarily high-end certified if you think you're gonna have to barter it, because at the end of the day, an ounce of silver is probably going to be an ounce of silver in a scenario like that. Whether you have a 1 ounce Carson City Morgan dollar or you have a 1 ounce Our Choice Morgan dollar, they're going to view it as the same amount of silver. When stuff gets crazy, collectors end up really losing a huge amount of money. So you need to be real mindful what you're buying. Now, on the flip side, I'm not totally against collectibles. I mean, you guys know I have a couple. I do like some, and if money continues to, fiat money continues to be produced as more and more, you'll see collectibles continue to rise in price as people get more and more money. I actually just watched a video that someone sent me the other day about the 1933, I think. I'm not a huge end coin collector, so you got to forgive me, but there's a rare double eagle. I think it's the 33 double eagle. And the story went that most of them were turned back into the mint, but one foreign representative ended up getting it. He ended up buying it. He had a big coin collection and he wanted every coin and he needed that coin. And he wanted to sell it now for $25 million. So yeah, I mean, people buy these coins at auction. They sell these coins at auction. I think the coin actually sold for $16 million at one point, and then that person that bought it for 16 is now asking like 25 or 30. So you do want to know what you're buying. Another interesting thing is stuff like this. If I kind of get it there so you guys can kind of see it. You know, a lot of people don't know what's in a proof set, a silver proof set. Since I did the video explaining how you can get some amazing deals on this, I actually have a couple subscribers that have been writing to me, and they've been telling me they've been picking these things up for pretty much spot value. So they're getting, for those of you that don't know what's in here, I'll actually open this one up just so you can kind of get a quick look. Now, some of the stuff in here, it's not silver. so it may not have like a huge, something like this. I mean, it's $4. Does it look cool? Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's in a nice holder. It's not silver. It's not gold. They're just dollar coins. At the end of the day, though, it is worth $4 at least. Why? Because I could break them out and spend them. Another thing that's pretty cool that has in this same set, and some people might say the same thing, is these. Well, they're not silver. They're not even copper. They're just zinc. But they are pretty. It does have all the Lincoln pennies, the 4 Lincoln pennies. So that was pretty cool in the set. But the big things that people are looking at, the next thing I'll show, is the quarters. Now, there's 6 silver quarters in here. So right in this one slab, there's over an ounce of silver. Because remember, it takes $1.40 and 90% silver to know what you're getting, to understand you're getting 1 ounce of silver in $1.40 of constitutional. So this has $1.50, so this is over an ounce. But it doesn't stop there. There's also a silver $half, a silver dime, and then a cool dollar, a cool nickel. But at the end of the day, I'm not a big fan of that stuff. The only thing I'm after is the silver. But what I want you to understand is there's $2.10 in silver, plus roughly another $5 in face value. You're talking roughly 1.5 ounces of silver in this little box. And some of these boxes are selling, if you look around, they are selling super cheap. I mean, I've seen them as low as $35. Right there, you can't get 1 ounce of silver for $35. But you got to look around a little. I actually did a video on that. And some people just don't understand what they're buying. It's important that you understand what you're buying. Another one that I see people get scammed on is the kilos. They buy a kilo and they don't know how much. How many people really know how much silver is in a kilo? Now, I know it because of a funny slogan that I heard on another channel. 3, 2, 1, high five. I get a kick out of that because it literally, you just have to remember 3, 2, 1, 5. And you just have to know to put the decimal point in the middle. So 32.15 ounces. But I see a lot of people try that don't know. They're like, yeah, it's like 33 ounces of silver. So you do the math. And then I'm just going to add a little premium on. But they're putting the premium on at 33 ounces. And 32.15, 0.15 is a long way from that extra ounce. It may not seem it, but you're talking roughly, $35? And so I think it's important that people understand that aspect of it as well. But just knowing what you're buying, understand the difference between collectibles, and know why you're stacking. A lot of people don't really understand why they're stacking. If you're stacking because you think precious metals are going to go up, hey, you're in the same camp as me. Do I think the dollar could collapse? It's a possibility. It's not a guarantee. But it does fall into giving me an out if something happens. If I'm buying silver because I think silver will just gradually continue to go up in price, like everything that we buy as it goes up in price, if you already have it, you have the opportunity later to sell it and get the money that you need to survive. It is a true savings account, in my opinion. So many people, they want to put their money in dollars, like we did talked about in the video yesterday about the Mexican peso crisis, where all of a sudden in one night, basically 1,000 of the old pesos were converted into one of the nuevo peso, the new peso. So you literally could have had $1,000 and all of a sudden you had $1. And I know some people, they don't use dollars. Technically, actually, a lot of people don't know this because someone did comment it, that the dollar symbol actually was used in Mexico before the United States. A lot of people don't know that. And that could be because of where the dollar symbol actually came from. With that being said, moving on, if you had that, you would have been burned instantly. I know someone left me a comment. Conrad had left me a comment saying, when you think about it, you essentially could have bought an ounce of gold the night before for, I think it was like $1,300. And the next day, you had to have $1,300 of the new notes that were basically equal to 1,000 of the old notes, which means if you were buying the ounce of gold the next day, you would have had to have 1.3 million of them. Now think about that. People always say gold will never go up astronomically. We'll never see $10,000 gold. We'll never see $15,000 gold. We'll never see, the one I get the kick out of is we'll never see $50 silver again. Clearly we're going to see $50 silver. I would not be surprised to see it actually by the end of the year. In fact, JP Morgan just revised their gold and silver estimates, saying that they believe that we will see $39 silver by the end of the year, and that we will see $4,000 gold by the end of the year. And what's interesting with those numbers is that still keeps us right around the 100-to-1 ratio when you think about it. I mean, it's pretty close when you have $4,000 and then you have 39 and maybe even a little change. That would still put us right around that 100-to-1 ratio. So a lot of people that are buying silver just because of the ratio, I mean, we don't know what will happen. Even people like me that are making videos, we're not financial advisors. We're not licensed to give financial advice. Really, when I make these videos, and I say it in every video, I even put a disclaimer below the video, I'm telling you guys my opinion and what I think is going to happen. And, when I just buy silver, a piece of silver, a silver coin, one, I got a cool looking coin. I mean, even if you look at these little things, which I'm not keeping, I'm actually already kind of made a deal with my son because he likes them. I don't know if they're going to sit around and play poker with them or what they're going to do. But who knows? They're neat looking, but I don't like them because I know how easy it is to lose a gram of gold, and I can imagine losing a gram of silver is going to be just as easy. So I'm not a big fan of 1 gram anything. Although I will be honest, when you get into gold, it's getting expensive. It's getting expensive, and a lot of people can't afford $3,300 for an ounce of gold anymore. And so, they started looking at, half ounces. Then they started looking at quarter ounces, looking for that sweet spot between the premiums and the actual melt price on the gold. And so now a lot of people have shifted their attention to the 1/10 ounce, with some people even switching their attention now to the 1/20th ounce of gold. And as you get into that, you're paying a bigger premium, but you are getting something that can be passed off, that you can sell it if need be. I actually seen someone the other day picked up a 1/20th ounce of gold, 1/20th ounce. He picked it up for $200. So I think that estimates out at $4,000 an ounce if I did the math right in my head. You think about it, $4,000 an ounce, you got a little wait before you're going to make your money back. However, what a lot of people don't think about is when you go to sell some of this stuff, premiums do carry. If you stick to it, the premiums will carry over. If someone really wants what you have, and that's why I do like buying nicer stuff. Not nice in terms of, it has to be high-end collectible, but I don't want something beat up that's been, maybe ran through the blender and then put in someone's pocket for a couple years as like a worry coin. So once you understand all that, you understand that good chance you will get some of your money back. I'll be honest, if I go to sell this right now, I'm certainly not going to sell this for 1 ounce of silver. Silver spot price at 33, I'm going to expect some premium on it. I don't plan on necessarily selling it, but I definitely would want a little bit of my premium back because I paid for the premium. You pay the premium when you buy it. Some people automatically think you will not get that back. That's not true. It depends where you go. If you go to a pawn shop, I'll be honest, pawn shops have high overhead. They're in business to make money, and essentially, they do pay a good percentage under spot. I actually ended up hearing one pawn shop that said they were paying 30% under spot, and I was like, what in the world? Does anybody sell to you? And, the guy even told me, he goes, it's rare. People don't usually want to sell. They bring their stuff in, show it to us. When we tell them the price, they usually take it and walk. I said, yeah, but how much are you losing by not taking that stuff? Why not pay spot price for it and then sell it for, like the big dealers, a couple bucks over spot even. And, I got told, well, then we can't pay our rent on making $5 a coin. I said, well, you can't make your rent making no money on a coin that you didn't even get. Every dollar adds up, but a lot of people, they want to make all their money instantly, and that's really where the Bitcoin I believe comes into play. People want that big profit. They want instant gratification. They don't want to wait to save money to buy a nice car. They want to just charge it and make minimum payments every month, or a big screen TV, or whatever the case may be. People want it now. And, when it comes to gold and silver, you are playing the long road. I mean, it's literally an insurance policy. But here's the thing. If you buy an ounce of gold today at $3,300, if something drastically happened to the U.S. dollar, that should go up theoretically in price. And I say theoretically because obviously anybody can manipulate the numbers if you have enough money and you put enough paper ounces of gold out on the market. But at the end of the day, it's paper. It's not physical. But, needless to say, chances are it will go up in price, especially if something bad happens, it will skyrocket. But if nothing bad happens and it just sits at $3,300, well, I get my $3,300 back. You don't get that when I buy home insurance. I mean, if I'm worried about a hurricane and no hurricane hits, what happens to my insurance? Nothing. And in most cases, even if I don't have a hurricane for 20 years, they don't give me a break. They just keep taking. In fact, they charge more and more every year because I think they realize that the law of averages are, if you haven't had one in 20 years, you're due for one. So that's why I've never really been a fan of insurances per se. However, when it comes to financial insurance, I think it's very important. Now, people buy insurance every day. They buy home insurance, they buy fire insurance, maybe life insurance, hurricane insurance, flood insurance. How many people take the time to really buy insurance, financial insurance? That, if all of a sudden you lost your job tomorrow, would you have something? Would you have a way to sustain yourself? Or would you be kind of burdening? I hate to use the word burdening, but that's essentially what it is. You'd be burdening your family members, trying to get them to give you the money that you need to make ends meet. And so once you realize that, it really gives good incentive to want to buy precious metals. And don't think for a minute that because you're buying precious metals, you're instantly going to have to buy a lot over spot. That's why I showed you guys that silver proof set in the red box. I see these all the time at spot price, literally. I mean, right here, right now, I think I got like 10 of them right here in front of me. And so once you realize that, there are opportunities out there. Now, how close to spot? I'll be honest, I was buying a ton of 40% half dollars when I first started. I thought 40% half dollars were the greatest thing. The only silver that you could get for spot price or less. And, as time went on, I said, man, these things take up space. There's not really a whole lot of value in them. And then I ended up switching over, and I really like, pure silver stuff now. I like 1 ounce silver rounds, 1 ounce silver coins. I don't even like little stuff like this because it just, they get mixed up, they get misplaced. I like that consistency when you can put stuff in nice tubes and just put it away, so. With that being said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. What I want you guys to take, though, from this video, well, first of all, if you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up if you made it this far, and leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. But what I want you to take from this is there's a lot of different types of silver out there. There's a lot of people out there trying to scam you. And when someone gets scammed, it really puts a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to precious metals. And so I really don't want to see that happen to anybody that watches this channel. I do worry when I talk to people about what they're buying, and it's hard sometimes. I've actually emailed people back and said, I don't think it's a really great deal, but if you really like it, then hey, I can't stop you from buying it, obviously. If you like what you're buying, I had one guy actually reach out to me and said, hey, if you like it, you should just buy it. If it's silver, if it's gold, if you like it, you should buy it. It keeps it interesting. It keeps it exciting. And yes, I understand that that's probably a wise advice for a kid, maybe if you're younger and you can't necessarily, you're kind of relying maybe on your parents and they're trying to get you into stacking. Well, yeah, Simpsons, Star Wars, The Avengers, those rounds are really cool, but those rounds come at a hefty premium. In most cases, I see them $70 a piece. I mean, I bought a Superman one a little while back. In fact, I don't even know what I did with it now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, but I ended up paying like $75 for it. And, once you realize that The lower you go, the more silver you can add to your stack. And the more you have, the more protected you're going to be. It's like more insurance. Even insurance companies, some of them have a really hefty premium when you think about it. And if you shop around, just like insurances, you can get better deals. And so I think that's important that people are doing that. With that being said, we are at 29 minutes and 30 seconds. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the video. And don't forget, we will be going live either 8:30 tonight or 8:30 tomorrow night. If you're a member, you don't have to be present. You just have to be a member, and you're eligible. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see you guys there. I may do some extra little events when we do that. We'll see how that plays out. It's going to be fun, and I thank everybody for watching, and I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody, and have a great day. Bye-bye.